Let's talk about some movements, of course. Let's talk about some bookkeeping, for lack of a better term. Had a couple of moves with earnings recently, had a couple of stocks. These 6 stocks that are here are the 6 stocks that I'm trading married puts in with the Fusion portfolio. Planet Fitness, on, we're going to cut that. I didn't cut it today, but it's going to be cut next week out of the portfolio, and I'll show you why, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Kraft Heinz, up in the air on that one. LTH, we're going to do some moves with. Caesar, I really need to do a move with, and AGI is just kind of hanging around. And we'll talk about that too as well in a moment. But first, bookkeeping. It's 8th expiration, Friday expiration, standard expiration, 3rd Friday, I should say. So I'm going to navigate over to the portfolio tool, and you can see the various position. Alamos Gold, as you saw, is trading at about $26, and we have the December 28 put, 126 days away. The stock's down about 4% since we entered the position, did some income methods. Right now, we're essentially at break even. And that's why I mentioned I want to do some management on this position. The Caesar's not really doing what I want. The earnings beat, earnings beat and revenue beat. They didn't really raise their guidance, and there was hope that with some of the new tax laws that were coming out, that would benefit some of these things. Of course, we're coming up to football season, and we're coming up to basketball starting soon. We're in the midst of baseball starting playoffs, MLB starting playoffs. Hockey's going to be starting in a month and a half. And they've got their hands, of course, in the online booking and online casinos, online betting on different sports books, and it's coming into that season where it's really, really heavy once football kicks off. College football kicks off as well, and baseball is going into the playoffs. Well, the stock's not doing what I want. It's down 10% almost. We're down 3.4% with some adjustments we've made on this position. But, holding a 31 strike put and the stock's at 25, I've got to decide what I want to do with this one. I have a lot of time on my hands. Same with Kraft Heinz. It's doing okay. We're only down 2%, but the stock's down about 7%. LTH is the one. It's been coming back up. We're holding the 30 put, but we're taking a high risk on this position because we did an adjustment thinking the stock was going to recover, and it didn't. So that's okay. Trust me on that. That's okay. I've got a magic wand up my sleeve using the 13 different income methods on this one, where I can actually get back to break even if the stock just moves up to 29 in the next 30 days, even though it'll still be down about 6.5%. And I can further profit on that later, but not a lot of time left. On is a bulletproof position. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But hey, basic bookkeeping. When Planet Fitness, this is the other one, it was up to about 115. We went ahead and sold the 120 call. Well, that expired worthless today. The stock had dropped down to about 101, 102 with earnings, but it's come back. We're only holding the 105 put. So I could have rolled this trade today, simple buyback for 5-10 cents, and then gone ahead and rolled it to, say, a September, maybe 110 or 115, get more premium in that. The stock's up 9%, and I think we're at like a 5% profit on the position, 3.4, 9.8 peak profit. So in any case, this call expired worthless, so I'm just going to illustrate that. I'm going to go to the call option itself. I'm going to go to position actions, and I'm going to go to expire leg. And yeah, so this just expired worthless, the $2 in premium. Now I'm back to 6 straight married puts, no collars open. And with the Planet Fitness trade, what am I going to do next? Well, okay, so I've got a stock. It's moved up. I've lowered my cost basis from 98.35 down to 96.93. We're up at 107.52. We're holding the November 105 put, still 98 days to go. Like I said, simple approach here. I'm probably just going to sell the 110 or the 115 call for September. But let's evaluate what other opportunities are there. Whether you're tracking any position, whether it's a covered call, cash secured, naked put, iron condor even, buy call, buy put, as we're tracking the positions in our portfolio, we can go to position actions. And then we can go to position analysis. Now, the position analysis view gives us a breakdown of our current position. And similar things that we saw in the portfolio. Hey, what is my current liquidation value? Where do I stand right now? I've got 98 days to put expiration. Midpoint of my put, maximum risk on the trade is only 4%. Current liquidation value, 3.5%. Future expiration value is a loss of 1.7% if the stock remains at 107.52. But then down below, we see some rollout opportunities. there's what I mentioned. The September 110 call would be about 273. Would drop my max risk down to 1.5% and a potential max return if assigned of 6.5%. Now, it's a good thing to see things numerically. We take our break even down to 102.88. This is higher than my original price because I rolled the put up twice, from the 100 up to the 110, then back down to the 105. But in addition to seeing things numerically, when you see a rollout opportunity for your given position, take a look at it graphically side by side. Just click the Edit More Information button next to that potential trade. Click on Simulate Trade. And now you have a side-by-side comparison. Over here on my left in red is my current position, my current return. This is what I could make if I do the adjustment here. What is my new max risk? Drop it from 4% down to 1.5. Move the return from 3.5 to 6.5 in the best case scenario if the stock's trading right at 110 in the next 35 days, I believe it was, to September expiration. Okay, so that's one definite option that I could do. Gives me some premium, lowers the cost basis. Income method number one, the easiest and simplest and most obvious thing to do in a married put position. Hey, just sell a call against it, lower your risk, get a higher percent return if the stock reaches your short call strike price. But at the same time, there's other options available. I could roll up the put now that the stock's trading at 107, it's above my put strike price. I could bulletproof the position to where I have no risk. I could roll up to the November 115, November 120. I could bulletproof by adding time, going out to December as well. We're adding time here with November. I could go out to December, keep a bulletproof status here. We could go out to January at the 120 strike. And if I really I wanted to see no risk on the December 115, but that's fine. Let's take the 120. And again, it's great to see things numerically. What am I doing here? I'm sorry. I'm going to sell my put for 560. That's the 105, remember. And I'm going to buy the 120 December strike put for $15 at the midpoint. Hopefully. I'm going to try that. So here we have a debit of 940 to essentially gain 15 points. I'm moving my guaranteed exit from 105 on the November put strike to December 120. Yes, I'm paying an additional cost of 960 into the position, 940, I apologize, into the position, but gaining 15 points of higher guaranteed payout. I mean, that's a win, and it's going to bulletproof the position in that case. So here we'd have no risk on the trade instead of the max risk of 4%. It is a debit, so I'm going to increase my cost basis here by about $1,000 from 10,933 up to about 11,873. But again, I'm guaranteed to get 12,000 back, which means what? The worst case scenario, we're going to make $127 or 1.1%. Now, true, I could liquidate now for 3.4%, obviously. 3.5%, I apologize. I could just sell that other call, reduce the risk, and potentially make 6.5% if the stock's at 110 in September. But here I'm giving myself extended time, another 30 days on the position to have a bulletproof trade, and I can still sell the September, October, November, December calls against it to milk that premium more, get this to almost a 4 or 5% bulletproof status with a higher potential return depending on the calls I'm selling. Right, so that's one of the income methods. It's one of the 4 ways we manipulate the put option in the married put approach. This is income method number 4. But once I do that, if I did decide to do that, which we're not going to simulate in the portfolio right now, well, we could see the simulation. I could also do a bear call credit spread, which would leave the upside open, give me $1.50 net credit in this case to reduce the risk to 2.6%. That's what I was kind of looking for. I might still do that, but let's take a look. I'm going to sell a September 110 call. We're going to buy a September 115 at midpoint. If we get it, we'll get a net credit of $1.50. We don't bulletproof the trade as we do with income method number 4. We don't get as much upfront premium as we would by just selling the 110 call. We're getting less than half. But the advantage of this particular income method, what's called one of the money nets in the blueprint, is I am selling a September 110 call at 273. But I'm buying a 115 at 123. There's our 105 net credit. I still reduce the cost basis. We still have the 105 put, so we reduce the risk in this trade. But what this looks like to your broker is simply a covered call, converting the married put essentially to a collar. So you have that peak profit and loss chart as we saw before, but you also have a long call at 115 that you received at a credit. So even if the stock gaps up to 125, 127, or 130, the upside remains open. It's not the capped gain that we saw with the covered call that came back down, with selling a call against it, essentially creating what looked like a calendar spread when we evaluated the profit and loss side-by-side comparison here in the simulate trade feature of that income method number one. We leave our upside open. Now, this is a great play to use before earnings. You don't know what the stock's going to do. You want to get some income to lower your risk, but you want to leave the upside open in case there is a gap. In this scenario, Planet Fitness has already had its earnings. It did have a decent move up after its earnings a little bit, not as much as I expected. They did pretty well. But at the same time, I'm not expecting by September 15th, September 18th, whatever it was, by September expiration, I'm not expecting another, close to 12, 15% move up into this range at this time. I'd get that jump with earnings. So in this case, the income method number one for me might be a better play for that more premium. But why not combine the two? Or three? We saw that we could roll up to the December 120 put to bulletproof the trade. Or even the November 110. What if we combine the two that we just looked at? Let's simulate that. We're going to go to the profit and loss chart, the custom spread tool, and I'm going to simulate not going up to the December 120 that we looked at. I'm just going to move up to the November 110. So it's going to cost me $805, but I'm selling to close my existing put where the initial cost is already taken into account into our cost basis. So yeah, we're going to pay about $245 here to gain 5 points of net credit. I kind of like that. We're not going to bulletproof the trade in this case, but we're going to take the risk down to a 1.6%, so close, $178. Now that I've moved up to the 110 put, why not combine it with that other adjustment I just saw for September expiration? We don't have weeklies with Planet Fitness, but now I sell the just slightly out of the money 110 call, buy that 115. We get that $1.50 or so net credit, $1.55 net credit. We're going to sell our 110 call. We're going to change our action here, and we're going to buy the 115. By itself, it's a bear call credit spread, but in the context of owning stock or the married put position, to your broker, it's just a covered call with an extra long call that's not capped by any upside gain. Let's change it to 273. Keep the numbers even, and 123. It's using rounding there at the midpoint. I just want to keep it clean, all right? So there we take in our net credit of about, $1.50 even in this case. After we almost bulletproofed it. So we're $28 shy of bulletproofing the position. But my profit now, if the stock's at 110, at September 19th expiration, is $534. That's a little $200 more. So that's that close to 6.5% we were looking for. And if there is a sudden gap up due to anything that might happen globally with discussions that are happening in Alaska right now, other events, discussions on the Fed. I think the Fed meeting happens right around the 19th, that week maybe for standard expiration, if I'm not mistaken, the third Friday. It might be before then. But if any positive news comes out of that, discussion comes from Powell or anything like that, I've set myself up for an unlimited upside profit beyond what I have right now. Yeah, there's a little dip here. That's even to what I have right now if the stock happens to be trading right at 115. But I've canceled almost all of the risk on the trade in case the news is negative and the stock falls. Used the put as my second working asset, added another of the income methods beyond just selling a call to leave the upside open for potential economic news and global news that we might see coming out in the next week or two as well. Protect against the drawdown. Leave the upside open. Get income to help as well, still be actively trading. I kind of like this move. I think I might have to reevaluate on Monday the December move that we saw, maybe up to the December 115, and do a September 115 call and the 120 call instead of the 110, 115. But I really like this, almost close to bulletproof status, leaving the upside open. Good combination of what we call income method number 4 and income method number 6.